Okay. I think I did it simultaneously, and I am live on Instagram and on YouTube. Um, hello. Welcome to my monthly nap chat. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Allison Egidi. I'm a pediatric sleep coach. I'm located in the Charlottesville, Virginia area. And I founded Sleep and Wellness Coach. It'll be 10 years ago in June, so almost 10 years ago. And every single month over the last 10 years, I have held a free sleep Q&A. It used to be like on Facebook and I just responded with questions, and then it's evolved over the last 10 years. And so every month I do a free sleep Q&A. And the way it works is that there was a post that went up on Instagram inviting people to submit questions in advance. I'm going to start with answering pre-submitted questions, and then I'm happy to take any live questions. So if you are hopping on here and you did not get a chance to submit a question in advance, you can put it in the comments of this video, and I will happily take any live questions after I answer any pre-submitted questions. And then if you're coming back and watching this replay and you missed it live and didn't get a chance to answer a question, you should know that another place to look for advice from me is on my podcast. I have a podcast called How Long Till Bedtime. You can listen to it anywhere you listen to podcasts. There are 200 and I think I just recorded the 234th episode where I cover a lot of sleep topics, also interview other folks in the parenting space. And so you can search for the topic you're looking for. It's really easy to search on Spotify, actually, at the top, and you may find the answer there. You can also learn how to work with me or the sleep coaches on my team at sleepandwellnesscoach.com. And you can also learn about my workshops and programs that I have there as well. Okay, let me pull up this post. Hold on, it's reloading over here on my computer. Okay. This was from Maggie Villiano. I'm the queen of butchering names, you guys. Okay. You said, my daughter is 14 weeks old and I can't get her to nap in her crib more than 30 minutes, but she will contact nap up to 2 hours. We aim for bedtime at 7:30, and she wakes at 6 to 7 a.m. She was sleeping through the night, but last night woke up at 3:30 and was awake for 2 hours. Yikes. She naps 4 times a day and is roughly up 75 to 120 minutes between naps. Help me to get her to sleep in her crib longer for naps, and hopefully that will help night wakings and allow her to get herself back to sleep. Okay. I love that she was sleeping through the night. So the good news about that is it really speaks to kind of her capability and her natural ability to sleep well. And without having all the details, just reading this, I think fantastic. She has some good natural sleep talent. So that's a win. She's in a window where it's not uncommon for things to get a little bit dicey, because between 12 and 16 weeks, there is a massive developmental leap that kids take, specifically as it relates to their sleep cycles. So they kind of shift from having 2 phases of a sleep cycle to having 4, and then their circadian rhythm is now more mature and developed. And so the timing of their sleep can start to impact their sleep. So there's just a lot that happens between 12 and 16 weeks. So I really think if you think of what people call the 4-month sleep regression, a lot of times it actually kicks in between 12 and 16 weeks, which is ahead of 4 months. So not that you're dealing necessarily with a big regression, but that I think that's what's probably thrown your little one off a little bit here. So again, I don't have all the details, and newborn sleep is like the most unique stage of sleep. But here are a couple things that I would just throw out there for you to keep in mind. If she's not already putting herself to sleep, that could be contributing to these short naps. So if you are feeding her, rocking her to sleep, or basically you're putting her down in her crib asleep for these naps, she gets to the end of one of these sleep cycles and it's like, whoa, things have changed. And then you get more resistance. So, one of the keys to helping kids start to lengthen their naps is to be able to put them down in their crib awake and have them put themselves to sleep while in the crib so the environment doesn't change. So, if you're not already, start working on putting her down. I wouldn't even say drowsy but awake. She's in the stage where I start to say relaxed but awake. So start trying to put her down more relaxed and work on having her put herself to sleep in the crib. You don't have to do this for all the naps. Think about really starting with maybe the first 2 naps of the day. Usually earlier in the day is easier, or maybe you practice for 1 nap and then you help her get a longer second nap and then you practice for the 3rd nap. But it'd be really great at her age if you're practicing for 2 naps a day. And when you're holding her for a 2-hour nap, which I'm not opposed to at this age, particularly if as you're working to teach her to extend um, her crib naps, we don't want her to get totally overtired. But I'm immediately thinking, did you hold her? Let's take yesterday for multiple 2-hour naps. And then at the end of the day, did she ultimately get too much sleep? And then she didn't have enough sleep pressure to carry her through her full night of sleep. And then she was up and alert for 2 hours. So usually, at this age, I would think of there's some variance still on how much kids can need during the day, but track how much she's getting, and you might start to think about first not letting her get probably more than 4.5 hours of sleep during the day. And then if you're like, well, that's what she's getting, and we're continuing to have these longer wake ups, you might cap it down to 4. So do some testing out. I'm not trying to sleep deprive her during the day, but sometimes, like in this example, I might say maybe you work on your crib nap for the first nap, then you help her get a second nap, but don't have it be more than an hour and a half. Then you work on your crib nap for the third nap, and then maybe she could take a 2-hour nap after that. But finding some sort of balance, because it's possible now, as she's getting a more developed circadian rhythm, if she gets too much day sleep, she doesn't have enough pressure to sleep throughout the night. If she has a really bad nap day where you're like, we just got a bunch of 30-minute naps, then put her down even earlier than her 7:30 bedtime. That can help. And then if you have these bouts where she's awake during the night, I wouldn't don't bring her out of the dark room. So we don't want her to, and don't want to be over dramatic. So one night does not mean she's trying to have split nights, but we don't want to encourage split nights where we're kind of catering to her having a longer wake up. So if she has a long wake up in the middle of the night, you can still attend to her and support her. It's not like you're like leaving her be at 14 weeks to figure it out on her own, but keep her in that dark room so that we're still sending her brain signals that it's time to be sleeping. We're not going out and hanging out in the family room with the lights on, because that can throw off the circadian rhythm as well. So hopefully that helps a little bit. It does seem like she's naturally inclined to sleep well. So, somewhere here over the next, I'd say like 4 weeks, you're probably looking to really stabilize her schedule to being like a 3-nap consistent schedule, no longer dictated by wake windows. It doesn't sound like you've necessarily been super strict about wake windows, but between 18 and 20 weeks, you want to have her on to a 3-nap schedule where she's taking the first nap at a certain time, the second nap at a certain time, and the third nap at a certain start time, and focusing on anchor start times versus wake windows. So that's kind of what is coming here over the next 4 to 6 weeks, and the kind of transition that's coming up, because it sounds like she's getting ready for that. And that's why you're hitting a few bumps in the road. Okay, let me refresh We may not have any other pre-submitted questions. Let me just double check. That may have been our only pre-submitted questions, and it does not look like we have a big group live here today. So I will, and Maggie, if you're here live or watching this replay and you get to a point where you need some help with a schedule, that's something we could always connect for on a sleep consultation to help you nail down the schedule here in the future. But hopefully a few little tweaks and you will be back on track with your good little sleeper. Okay, let me tell you guys when my next nap chat will be. So if you're coming back and watching the replay and thinking, I can't believe I missed it, you can put this on your calendar for next month. So the next nap chat is going to be Friday, April 24th at 12 p.m. Eastern. So put that on your calendar. There will be a post on Instagram that goes up on the 23rd inviting you to submit a question in advance. So if you aren't able to join live, you can submit your question in advance and then come back and watch the recording. And I will see you guys back here live next month. Okay, bye for now.